Hey guys, Beck here. Welcome back to Teach to Love Club. Today I'm going to take you through a Red Spring class plan on the Reformer. So this class will be somewhere between, I would say, kind of a flow and a sculpt class, but I'm not using any props except for the machine, and I'm going to challenge myself to use just a red spring for the entire class. The only part that I won't use the red spring on will be for the warm-up, and that will be because I'm going to have an extra red spring on or all springs if you prefer, just to keep the carriage completely still, because I will be transitioning from side to side on the machine. The warm-up I'm going to use was inspired by Sam, so I'm not going to take credit for the warm-up because I am using hers. So we're going to come to the side, or a little bit of hers, we'll see how we go. We're going to come to the left-hand side for your warm-up. Take your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. Take a big breath in, reach the arms up, and then take a nice big fold forward, bending through those knees, drawing the belly in, pushing into the feet, rounding through the spine, rolling it up, the shoulders roll back. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, take a nice big fold forward. So I'm actually using my hands on the floor to pull me down, and then bending the knees, rolling it up nice and slow. Let's do that one more time. Big reach, lengthening the tail to the floor, big open, finding a deep forward fold, maybe a little deeper on each one. So just encouraging your clients to get a little deeper each time. Bend the knees, roll up slowly. Let's take a lateral bend. So we're going to reach up through the arms, find your left wrist, go up and over, little bend in the knees, get into that side body. And then lifting back up and climbing up through the right arm, up and over to the left. Little bend in the knees. And then releasing that. Take the feet a little bit wider and you're coming into a nice big squat. So just an air squat. Little tiny turn out through those feet. We'll go for another 5. Try to squeeze the glutes at the bottom and at the top. Last 3. Last 2. Holding it down. I like to press my palms together as I pulse. I just find that if I do that, it really starts to ignite your biceps and your shoulders and your chest a little bit. So you get a little bit of that chest work in there just by pressing the palms together. Get a little bit lower and do some knee wraps out and in. So you're getting some external rotation in those legs with those knee wraps. Get lower, reach it forward, and then slowly stand up. 3, 2, we're gonna walk a little bit close to the machine, pop the right foot up onto the carriage. It's more of a sumo squat, this one. So my legs are just a little bit turned out. Whenever I stand, I'm trying to squeeze my left glute because you can see my right leg is still bent. Adding on, if you want to add on, you step up, you do a little lift of your left leg out to the side, pushing the arms back, squeezing the backs of the arms, hips pressing forward. We'll go for another 4. Landing lightly through the foot, so this might not work for everyone. Give them the option to just keep squatting. We're going to pulse this sumo. Legs are a little bit turned out. We're going for 5, 4, 3, 2. Now we step up onto the carriage and we step our right foot, little tap to the side. Come up and down. So you can go very slowly, and again I've got an extra red on to stabilize, or all springs if you want to feel a bit safer. To pick it up a little bit more, it's a little transitional movement from side to side for 4. And 3, we'll end up on the other side. So just even yourself up, and we're here, and we go to the other side. Sumo on the right, squeezing the right glute as you stand. Let's go for 4. 3, last 2, pulsing it down, palms can press together, arms can reach overhead. That's going to intensify the heart rate. Hands on hips for a bit less. Feel a zip through the belly, lengthen of the tail down. Staying down, those little knee wraps out and in. Woo, feeling it already. Go for 5, 4, 3, and then back to the step up. Step to the other side, step up, step. So you can go really slow, and controlled, or pick it up, get a bit of a heart rate warm up in there. 4, 4, 3, 2, finish, transition, hands to the foot bar. I'm going to take off my extra red springs. I'm on my 1 red. I'm going to down stretch. I'm going to go for a little press back, thumb lifts, little heart opener, roll it up. And then again, hips are lifted, stretch, roll, press it out. As I roll up, I'm just going to do a little twist, lifting through the left. So I'm getting a little bit as I come in. I'm aiming for a bit of rotation through the spine. 1 more on each side. And just encourage your participants to do what feels nice for them. We move into down stretch, making sure the foot bar is in the right place before you start the class. Inhale to press out. Exhale to pull it in, shoulders over the wrists. So I'm on a red, which means that it's going to be heavier for my shoulders, less so for my core. Nice long spine, ribs to hips, tail lengthening to backs of knees. I'm going to go for 3 more, and then I'm going to add a chest press. In 2. And then I'm going to push the carriage out, lining chest up just above or just in line with the bar for more challenge. Inhale, chest to bar. Exhale, push. Inhale, so the challenge is when you push it out, the arms straighten. You want to keep the shoulder blades down the back. Draw it all the way in. Push. We're going to go for another 5, and they can go a little heavier for core support here. They can go red, yellow. Will be harder for the shoulders. Blue, yellow, a little bit less. Blue, yellow meaning a 3/4 strength. Last 2, last 1, pulling the carriage in. I'm going to go for a push-up here, pressing the carriage out, straight arms to come in. So it's a little combo of a push-up, a press, straight arms in. I'm going to go for 3 more for a push, straight arms in. Last 2, down, chest to bar, pushing it out. Inhaling it in. I'm going to reverse that movement. I'm going to go out, straight arms, chest to bar, straight arms, carriages in. So this one is a little bit sort of easier, I think, to flow this way. So we're pushing it out. We line the chest up with the bar. We come in. We straighten the arms. We're going for 2 more. So you could almost consider this part of the warm-up because I'm only at the 8-minute mark here, and I'm going to push the carriage out and go for a little pulse in and out, keeping that body super long. Thumbs and fingers are forward, wrapped around the foot bar. Tiny little bend in the elbows, and then hold it out to finish this, pushing out as far as they can, but feeling it in the core and the shoulders, not in the lower back. And then pulling the carriage in. Take a seat, roll the shoulders. We move straight into long stretch. Anyone can stay in down stretch here. Hands are on the foot bar, thumbs are forward, shoulders are over the wrist, toes tuck. We lift, we inhale out with those nice, beautiful, strong, straight legs. And as you pull it in, the shoulders move over the wrists. We're not going to be here for quite as long as we were in the down stretch. Anyone can drop their knees at any point. I'm going to add 1 single push-up. Inhale down, center of chest to bar. Exhale up. 1 long stretch. Drawing it in. Inhale down, exhale, push. Ooh, 1 long stretch. Can we do just another 3? Again, knees can go down whenever. To modify. Last 2. Ooh, last 1. Now, coming all the way in, keep those knees lifted, draw chest past the foot bar, shoulders past the wrist, really strong legs, and hold for 5. Feels like you're going to fall forward. 4, 3, 2, and then take a fold, and we'll move into a little elephant. You can let the fingers go long, heels are grounded. Inhale, pushing it out, keeping the heels down. Scoot the belly in. Trying to maintain natural curves through the spine here as I move the carriage in and out. For 3, 2. We're going to move back into some leg work. So pulling that carriage in, melting the knees. My toes are going to flip to the left, so I'm going to lie on my right side. I'm on the red. I'm going to pop the long strap over the arch of my left foot. Now this is a very short carriage. I'm lying down. You can use a ball underneath if you need to, underneath the head. I like to use my arm. My legs are in a tabletop. I'm going to push my left leg to straight, squeezing that glute. Slow bend. So what we're going to do from here is a bit of a left side glute and hamstring and thigh burner. A few different positions we're going to work with before we go back to some upper body work. We're going to go for 5 more. Squeeze left glute 4. Resisting as you come in. 3. Nice and slow. 2. Trying to lengthen that left hip forward. On this next one, pushing my left leg to straight, pushing through the heel and lifting and lowering that left leg, wrapping that left hip forward for 5. 4, 4, 3, 2, and point the toes, straight leg sweep forward. Big breath in, big exhale. So they can do this on, let's go for about 9 more. They're red, yellow to really get heavy, or they can go for their red. Hamstring work here. Let's do 4 more. 3, keep the core nice and strong. You can lie all the way down onto the arm if that feels better. 2. And 1. I'm going to just go straight into an external rotation, bending through that knee, pushing. It's above the top corner of my foot bar, and I'm trying to wrap my left hip forward as much as possible. I've got 5 to go here. Try to keep the spine really long. 4, 4. Last 3. Feeling both glutes. Last 2. This last one, I'm going to just point my toe and do tiny little pulses on this very slight diagonal up. Slight turn out with the leg for 4. 3, 2, bend it and take it off safely. Popping that strap down, transitioning straight to a scooter on the left hand side. So my right hand is on my foot bar, left hand is to my lower back. Bending through both knees, pushing it back with my right leg, pulling it in. So sort of giving my left glute a little break, but not really, because I am in an isometric hold of my left glute. The reason I like to start with the scooter is it feels a little bit more like I can flow straight into it, whereas the lunge, I have to really kind of set them up a bit more, so we can move into the lunge after this. Let's go for 3, fingertips light or both hands to hips. 2, we're going to go halfway in with our back leg, little tiny pulses. Keep the left bend, left knee bent, shin pressing forward. 3, and then we push it out to straight. 2, pushing it out, pulling it all the way in. So now they get this little break to inhale, lengthen through the arms, reach those arms forward as the back leg straightens, pull it all the way in and up. Reaching it back, pulling it all the way in and up. Guys, that was my reformer moving on the ground. Go for 3 more. Squeeze. Last 2. And then I'm going to hold that lunge position out, bending through that left knee a lot, and then just pulsing into the right leg. Pushing that left shin forward. Maybe arms reach above the head, ribs to hips. You got 4, 3, 2, and then drawing it all the way in. We go for a little staggered lunge to finish. Carriage doesn't move, it's out an inch. Back knee taps the carriage. Squeeze to lift. Back knee taps. Squeeze to lift. We're only going for 8. So we've got another 5 here. Really trying to keep the hips nice and square. Coming all the way to neutral each time. Last 2. Good, and now you're holding this one down and you are just pulsing into your little staggered lunge for 4, 3, 2. Now get low, pop the knee down. Hands are wide on the foot bar, left hand to the edge, right hand off center. I'm gonna pick up my left foot and extend my left leg back, wrapping my left hip down and pulse that leg there. You've just burnt it out, but let's do a little bit more of a burn. Hip is a little bit open, left armpit is wrapping down, ribs are down for 3. Now squeeze it in for a little chest press position. They can keep the arms straight if they like. Thread it back, wrap the hip down. Little chest press if they want it as the knee squeezes. Thread. Now if they want less arms, straight arms, but I actually think it feels a little bit easier-ish to do the chest press. And the reason I'm doing the chest press here is because I've already done chest press with both knees down. Yeah, the body's already done it. So we'll do 3 more. And we'll do 2. Feel those obliques working as you go into that lateral flexion with the body. Extend that leg. And then you could do a little bend the knee, flex, and then point to extend. Keep firming the right hip in. You got 4, 3, ribs to the hips, last 2. Keep breathing, last 1, because you have one more little thing on this side. You're gonna step forward, push the carriage out for a little bit of a lizard stretch. Pull it in, lift the knee, scoop the belly, pull the left toes off the mat, land through your lunge. Back leg straight. Pulling it in, scooping it up, left toes lift, pushing it back. Heavy spring, flying lunge prep. Starting to add on, so my hands are shoulder width apart. Left knee to left tricep. Land lightly through the foot, lunge. Draw it in, squeeze. Land, lift the chest, open up through the front of the right hip and the chest. Adding on a little bit more, we can take it across the body. Right knee, left knee tricep. So right elbow or tricep, left elbow. I'm getting some rotation in here. Squeeze, squeeze. Land, shoulders over the wrist. Squeeze, squeeze. Pausing in there. Let's do 1 more. Squeeze, squeeze. Fly it back. Fly. Now because I'm on a heavy spring, I'm absolutely fine with this leg going for it. If they're on a blue, I'd want them to keep it low. Let's do 2 more. Last 1. And then melt the knee. Lizard. Drawing it in. We're on a red. I'm going to hold the bigger loops because I'm on a heavy. I could hold the shorter ones, of course, but bigger ones because we're heavy. Knees are down, feet are between the headrest, arms are nice and long by the sides of the body, little bend in the elbows. Forward in line with the shoulders, resist it down. Forward, ribs are down. Adding on if you would like to, pressing into the shins, high and low. Exhale, high kneel, low. Let's do this 3 more times. Last 2, they can stay up high if they want. Last 1, I'm not gonna pulse, I'm gonna come down, roll the shoulders to reset for a fly. So arms are by the sides of the body. Exhale, forward palms in. I like to create fists when I have a red spring. Inhale, open. Squeeze. Keep the chest open. Breathing in, just in line with shoulders. Breathing out. We're going to go for 4. 3, and obviously they can come up if they want. Push the hips forward. Really thinking about the glutes. Thighs working on the red. Last 1. Woo. Flip those straps. Hug the elbows in. Interlace the fingers or press the palms together. Overhead triceps. I'm going to stay low because the spring is heavy. Hugging the elbows in. Drawing the shoulders down. So the tops of the shoulders are relaxed. You've got 4. 3, breathe 2. Last one. Now bend the elbows, release the hands, release, and we come into a bit of a cat stretch. So elbows come in, we push the hands forward, we round the spine, fingers reach forward, inhale, back to center. Exhale. Inhale, back to center. And this time we add, we push, we reach, arms to sky. I'm going to stay in my low kneel, stretching open through the chest. Elbows in, I reset and push and scoop the backs of the ribs to the back of the machine. Reach those fingertips all the way up, slowly open. Now, this is a relatively strong exercise, so if people can't do it on a red, blue, yellow, or they just do this part, just do the cat, and then elbows in. Keep going for 2 more. Arms get a little break after this. Stretch open, ribs are down. Squeeze, reach, and then a slow release. Now I'm going to pop the strap away that's on my right side, and I'm going to face away from you so I can do my side lying on the right glute, popping that big strap over the right foot, shuffling the hips back, lying it all the way down, bending the knees, hips are lined up, top hip is wrapping forward, right leg extends, slow bend, push. Now when you extend the leg, what you're aiming for, I like to cue toward the back of the foot bar just slightly so that their right glute max actually works because the hip goes into extension. If you aim for the front of the foot bar, not quite as effective at getting into the back of the glute. You'll also notice I have my hand to my head, which we don't really want to cue that necessarily in a class. We want to keep their neck in line. The only reason I'm doing it like this is because I don't have a ball with me currently, and this is a slightly shorter machine. On a longer machine, I would have a ball underneath my head on the headrest. I'm going to go for 3 more, and we'll pulse that leg straight. Last 2, and then we're pushing that right leg nice and long, and we're just pulsing up 1 inch and down 1 inch. Pushing through the heel, trying to lengthen my top hip forward so I'm not collapsing through the side waist for 4, 3, 2, I like to point the toe for the straight leg sweep forward, flex, that's the hamstring working as it goes back into that extension of the hip. Inhale forward and then exhale push. Let's do 4 more like that. Last 3. Last 2, almost there with this part. You love my big loud breaths. Last 1. Now I'm not going to pulse, I'm just going to turn it out. Bend the knee. I want to get some external rotation in and extend. So it's like a half frog. Keep lengthening the top hip forward so you're not collapsing through the underneath waist there. It's very hard to do. It's very easy to collapse into it. You can see. Lengthen that top hip forward. I'm working hard. My underneath glute is working relatively hard as well. 3 to go, and I'm going to pulse in 2. Okay, this is the pulse here. We do a little point to the toe on this tiny little turned out V position. It is rather excruciating for 4. 3, 2, safely bend, take it off. You are scootering on the right. Pop that right foot down just behind the foot bar. Left hand down, fingertips nice and light. Pushing it out and in, squeezing that glute. Left fingertips can be on the bar, hand to hip if you like. For more challenge, firming that right hip back. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, We're going halfway in, little pulses. I'm using my hand very light on the bar because my right glute is on fire. Go for 4, 3, 2, pushing it all the way out. Bending the knee to come in because we want to go to neutral because we're on a heavier spring. Now, back into the lunge, pushing it out, pulling it in and up. Pushing it out, squeeze that leg to straight, pulling it in, adding those arms, reach, squeeze, reach and squeeze. 4 more. Softening the shoulders down as the arms go overhead. Resisting that spring in. Last 2. And then pushing this one out. I'm on my long diagonal line and I'm just going to pulse my back leg, pushing the carriage out and in. I've got my hand down for support, but if you want that challenge, you're going to take it away for 4, 3, 2, stand it all the way up. Breathe, push it out an inch. We're leaning forward, we're going for a staggered lunge. We tap the knee and lift. Tap and lift. Keep that going. So we want to go for 8 to 12 of those. I'm going to go for another 4 here. I'm going to go for the lighter rep. 2 more. I've already cooked it. And then we're pulsing in that staggered for 5, 4, 3, 2. The knee goes directly down underneath the hip. Hands go wide. Pick up the right leg. Core is strong. Extend it back. Try to wrap the right shoulder down so the hips are as square as possible. Then you're going to pulse that leg and it's slightly externally rotated. You could wrap it down and do it parallel. Go for 4. Now we squeeze it in. We've got this little lateral, sort of slight lateral rotation through the spine. Arms can be straight. Push it back. Squeeze. You can add a chest press whenever you like, or keep the arms straight. I'm going to aim for about 6 more of these, so I generally do about 8 of them because the chest is most certainly relatively cooked. I love a good upper body. We're going to go for 3 upper body workout. Last 2, resisting the urge to wrap the thumbs to the back. We want to keep them forward. Now we're going to push, wrap it down again, flex the foot. We bend, point, extend. I'm just going to watch that I don't let my ribs flare here. Very easy to do. We'll go for 5. Flex it in, point and extend. 4. Firming that left hip in. Keeping the back of the head lifted to the spine, in line with the rest of the spine, I should say. Now we draw it forward, and I'm going to just give myself reprieve in a lizard for a second. Pulling it in, lift the back knee, back leg is straight. Scoop it in, shoulders over the wrist, pick up the toes. Land through the foot. Now I like everyone to keep their left leg. Everyone does this slightly differently, but I like people to keep their left leg, their working back leg very straight and strong. So I'm imagining that I have a little toddler sitting on my left thigh. Okay? It's not bending. Now we're going to start to squeeze right knee to right elbow or tricep. Land lightly. Tuck it in, tap it in. Light land. Draw it in. Like you're landing on the moon. Yeah, there's no gravity. Go across to the left, across to the right. Land lightly. Across to the left. Scooping up through the abdominal wall. Getting into that rotation. 3. Last 2. Last 1. Scoop in. And we go for our fly. Fly it up. Land it down, fly it up, left leg is straight. I'm going to let my hip open just a little. You got 3. You've got 2. You have your last one. Popping it down, pulling it in, and then prepping for that little lizard. Opening up. And then when you're ready, coming in. I don't let them have a huge amount of time there. Now I'm just going to come to flip to the back, knees against the shoulder blocks, walking those hands up about halfway, drawing the shoulders just past the wrists, knee tuck up. Knee tuck, squeeze, knee tuck. Good, because I'm not on a blue or blue-yellow, this is relatively challenging. Spine is long, mostly core. 5 and 4. Last 3. Last 2. Holding it up there, little pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Hold, lifting up and out of the shoulders for 3, 2, and release. Rolling it up, rolling the shoulders back. I'm not going to drop my spring. I'm going to go straight into tricep extensions and a low kneel. I'm going to hold my long loops, but short loops are just as good. These straps are a bit shorter. Squeezing it back. And reaching it forward, squeezing it back. Reaching it forward. I'm just going to tuck my toes under here for a moment. Nice long spine. And if they want, they can press into their shins. Lift it up, control it down. Now, because they're on a red, you have to really cue safety here, because a lot of people come up and fall forward. So they must, for safety, do some in the low kneel. If they're new, keep them in low. If they are very body aware, shins press, slowly pull forward. Push into the shins, get those shoulders right over the pelvis so they're not leaning back or sticking out the bottom. Control it down vertically. So I'm really wanting to see people control their shoulders down over their pelvis, not lean forward. It's a lot easier. We want to keep those thighs working. Go for 3, 2, holding it up, pulsing it back just for 8, 4, 7, 6, wrists are nice and straight, 5, 4, 3, 2, reach it forward, bum goes down. I'm going to bend my elbows, hinge, tricep kick back, long spine, just for 8. Now, I usually don't do too many pulses on a red spring. I did with the straight arms, so definitely feeling it now. Long spine, ribs are down for 3. Upper arms stay still, 2. Bum can be a little bit off the heels. Last one, I'm going to reach it forward. Palms are in, and I'm going to go straight into a fly to open that chest. Arms out to the side. Squeeze it open. Now, this is quite a long lever, so I'm going to give you another option straight after this for if you want to go for a shorter lever, meaning the elbows bent. Let's do 3 more. Try to keep the shoulders forward, right over the pelvis. You can come up and down if you want. Lots of core work there. Holding it down. Now to make it a short lever, popping the short or long loops to the elbows, and palms are in, and then just opening from this position instead. So let's do a few of those. This is still posterior deltoid, middle of the back, also that mid deltoid as well. Ribs draw down. Let's do 3 more. Last 2. Holding this one open, pulsing up an inch and down an inch. Go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, release. So they're going to be fairly fatigued, but I'm going for 2 more exercises. I'm going to go for a frontal raise, palms are facing down, lift and lower, but I'm not going very high. You can see I'm only going just in front of my shoulders. It's going to work the front of my shoulder, but what I'm prepping for is a windmill. So I'm going to go 2 more. We add some rotation. We're going to open out to the right, left arm down, right arm, reach. Now they can go up, squeeze those glutes, go down, and I allow them to do a bit of a hinge back here so I can get some rotation and open through the chest. We're going to go for 4, 3, 3, keep those wrists beautiful and straight. Last 2, last 1. Release. All right. From there, I'm going to pop the straps down and I'm going to get them to do one more knee tuck facing the back. So we're going to lift the knees, we're going to take them to the tops of the shoulder rest, draw the shoulders past the wrists, squeeze it up and out. Squeeze it up and out. Longest spine ever. This is lots of core work. We're going to go for 6. We're going to go for 5. Last 4. And 3. Last 2. Last 1. Knees down, child's pose. Okay, now the very last thing is going to be flipping onto our backs. We haven't done anything supine. I'm not even going to use my straps. I'm going to get them to pop their foot bars down a little bit so that we can do some really beautiful work with no straps. So let's take a lying down position. Hands behind the head, they're a little bit wiggled away. Feet are flat to start. Coming into that curl. Tail is heavy. Floating the right leg to tabletop, the left leg, squeeze it together. Inhale, head down. Exhale up. Inhale, release. And if they want to add on straight away, right leg long and low. Release. I'm going to add my arms. Left leg long and low. And release. Now you can easily do hands and straps instead of this sort of more mat-based work if you want, and just do the exact same lower body work. I just felt like taking the foot bar down and adding a bit more free movement because we've just done so much heavy work, heavy springs. Let's do one more on each side. I'm going to hold my left leg long, but I'm going to draw it back up, squeeze it in, and then single leg stretch, right leg long, squeeze it in. Curl a little higher, find the shin, squeeze, and then switch. So we're going to go inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, I'm actually taking my hand, one to the thigh, one to the shin. We're going to go for 2 more sets. Last one. I'm going to draw my legs in, place my head down, extend legs to sky, start to look forward, ab curl. We're going to do a scissor. So actually let that leg go long and low, drawing the body up toward the shin, and then through center switch, through center switch. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep that lower abdominal wall nice and still, or double pulse. Don't know why I said or, because I still would like you to keep your lower abdominal wall still as you breathe out, even with the double. You can have a hand to head to support. Let's do 4, 3, 2. We'll move straight into a double leg stretch. I'm going to let my head rest for a moment. Looking forward, legs are tabletop, coming up, squeezing the hands to the outsides of the shins. Inhale, extend, exhale. Inhale, extend, exhale. Let's go for another 10 of these. And of course, they can put their head down in between each one. 4, 3. Squeeze those legs together. 2, little gap, chin, chest. Last one, hug it in. We have 2 more exercises to go. We're going to go for a double leg lower and bicycles. Hands to the head, legs are tabletop. Let's curl. Extend our legs straight up to the sky. Inhale, we're going to imprint the spine. You're going to lower and lift. Now you might just go halfway down and up. If they feel amazing, they could reach the arms. They could go all the way down and up. Let's do 4 more. So this is very similar to like a full series of 5 abdominals, abdominal work from the Pilates mat series. I'm not doing quite as many reps, and I'm giving myself a little rest in between. Bend the knees, bicycle with rotation to finish. Here we go, legs are in the tabletop position. Curl, right elbow outside the left knee, left outside the right. Breathing, trying to lift that opposite shoulder blade off the mat. Let's go for 10, 9, 8 to really find that rotation. 5, last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Abs on fire. Love that for us. Do whatever you need to do for a moment. Feet down, knees in. I'm going to take my feet to the edges of the mat and breathe. Slowing the breath down. Holding the shoulder blocks. Let the knees fall to the right, gaze to the left. Through center and swap. Through center and swap. I'm going to let my knees come all the way up and over to the right, so it's like a full twist. Maybe let the top leg extend, or both legs. Just kind of letting your participants just move freely a little bit here. Knees up and over to the other side. Or they can have that wide foot twist. If that feels better for them, maybe extending one or both legs. Back to center, nice and simple, just a nice glute figure of 4 stretch on the right hand side, threading the hands through behind the hamstring of the left leg or in front of the shin. Drawing some circles with the ankles of the left foot. Releasing that to the other side. And I just feel like I want to take a little happy baby here. So find the blade edges of the feet, bend the knees to the outsides of the rib cage. Maybe extending the right leg a little or a lot. Bending through the knee, extending the left. Maybe both legs a little or a lot. Planting the feet down. I'm going to extend my legs today over the foot bar, closing the eyes, relaxing in a shavasana. Can stay there as long as they like, gently blinking the eyes open, rolling up safely, so perhaps that's rolling to the side, and you could take a moment just to sit on the side and just roll the shoulders out, take a little twist from side to side, and you're all done. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed your Red Spring class. So as you can see, the movement, there's nothing crazy fancy in terms of choreography, sequencing. It's all very basic, but it's just the way that you put it together to ensure that you have a full body workout, you move in all 3 planes of motion, and as much as possible, you're just sticking with that red spring. We could spend a little bit more time cooling down, so you could take a standing, like a forward fold, and hang out there for a bit, rolling it up, a bit of a shoulder stretch, because they have done a lot of heavy spring red spring work there. And then just ensuring that you get the facing to the back work in. That can be quite challenging on a red spring sometimes, so hopefully you find, really do it in your body first with that red spring triceps and that kind of thing, so you can feel that you need to cue slowly lifting up, and a lot of people will need to stay in a low kneel position. Potentially some people will need a box they can sit on as well. And then, yeah, with the end, it just felt really natural for me personally that I wanted to do no springs, because the whole thing had been heavy, so I really felt like my shoulders didn't really need any more hands and straps. But if I'd been on a red spring doing abdominal work facing the back, it wouldn't have been it would have been too heavy, it would have been more upper body. So lying down facing the front with no springs just felt like a very natural thing to do, and it felt very challenging doing that series of 5. If you have any questions or comments, pop them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you enjoyed the class, and I'll see you next time.